US secret weapons being sent to Ukraine. In today's video, we're going to tell you about some amazing weaponry that Ukraine has received in aid to help their battle against Russia. But before we get into today's video, don't forget to subscribe and let us know in the comments what you think about the Ukraine-Russian war and how it's affecting you. Since the Russian invasion, Ukraine has received billions of dollars worth of weapons from dozens of countries. Defense ministers from NATO countries and other parts of the world will convene to discuss weapon deliveries to Ukraine on Wednesday. 25 of the 28 nations providing military assistance to Ukraine are NATO members, including the US and UK, which are supplying Kiev with sophisticated weapons such as multiple rocket launch systems. Despite its growing arsenal, Ukraine has an active military personnel of just 200,000 and is significantly outgunned by Russian forces. Other countries who have supplied Ukraine with weapons and military equipment include Australia, Belgium, Canada, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Netherlands, North Macedonia, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, Turkey, the UK, and the US. These do not include countries providing non-lethal aid or fuel such as Ireland and Japan. What weapons has Ukraine received? The military aid sent to Ukraine includes conventional weapons as well as more advanced equipment and weaponry. Below is a look at the weaponry pledged by some countries, some of which has been delivered and some of which has yet to be sent. It is not an exhaustive list as some nations keep their transfers secret. The weapons include artillery, anti-aircraft weapons, anti-tank weapons, armored vehicles, reconnaissance and attack drones, helicopters, small arms, ammunition, and body armor. Howitzer Artilleries. At the start of July, Australia, Canada, and the US had also sent more than 100 M777 howitzers and 300,000 rounds of 155mm ammunition to Ukraine. Howitzers have also been provided by countries such as Estonia and Norway. The range of the M777 is similar to Russia's Giat-Sint-B howitzer, and much longer than Russia's D3 towed gun. The US has also pledged M114 155mm howitzers, long-range artillery launchers. The M114 is a towed howitzer developed and used by the United States Army. It was first produced in 1942 as a medium artillery piece under the designation of 155mm howitzer M1. It saw service with the US Army during World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War before being replaced by the M198 howitzer. The gun was also used by the armed forces of many nations. The M114A1 remains in service in some countries. Anti-aircraft and anti-tank weapons. Shoulder-fired man-pad systems, NLAWs, Harpoon anti-ship missiles, Stinger missiles, Javelin anti-tank missiles, Milan anti-tank guided missiles, and Cheetah anti-aircraft missiles are among the weapons pledged to Ukraine. When the invasion started, outnumbered Ukrainian defenders on the ground were vulnerable to attack from Russian helicopters, which also had the ability to transport Russian troops rapidly around the beleaguered smaller country. That's why the US and its NATO ally Germany decided to give the Ukrainians a potent weapon that might help even the odds, the Stinger anti-aircraft missile. Javelin destroying a Russian BM-21 rocket launching system has emerged from the Ukrainian battlefield. The Javelin anti-tank missile has been a symbol of the Ukrainian resistance. Armored vehicles. The UK has provided Ukraine with Mastiff armored vehicles which can carry a crew of 2 + 8 troops. Australia has pledged M113 armored personnel carriers and Bushmaster protected mobility vehicles, the latter of which can deploy 10 soldiers. T-72 tanks have also been pledged by Poland. The T-72 is a family of Soviet-Russian main battle tanks. Reconnaissance and attack drones. Turkish Bayraktar TB2 combat drones, US-made Phoenix Ghost tactical drones, and Puma unmanned aerial systems are among the drones pledged to Ukraine. The Bayraktar TB2 drones have lately garnered prominence for repelling Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Numerous reports and videos have been released portraying the drone's might as a lethal weapon to support Ukrainian resistance. This Turkish-made weapon has previously also proven its worth in assisting Azerbaijan in defeating Armenian forces and regaining large territory in the 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh battle. The TB2 has a wingspan of 12 meters and can reach 25,000 feet. It has also been used during conflicts in Syria, Nagorno-Karabakh, Iraq, and Libya. And we have the US-made Phoenix Ghost tactical drones. The Phoenix Ghost's primary purpose is to deliver an explosive munition to a human-selected target. The drone can loiter over an area for up to 6 hours and conduct surveillance. It is effective against medium armored ground targets. Night operations are supported by infrared sensors. Helicopters. The US and Czech Republic have sent Ukraine Mi-24 attack helicopters. The MIL Mi-24 is a large helicopter gunship, attack helicopter, and low-capacity troop transport with room for 8 passengers. It is produced by MIL Moscow Helicopter Plant and has been operated since 1972 by the Soviet Air Force and its successors along with 48 other nations. Small arms. A number of countries are sending automatic rifles, machine guns, assault rifles, sniper rifles, submachine guns, pistols, and ammunition to Ukraine. Last week, the UK announced that it would give Ukraine M270 multiple launch rocket systems, which can strike targets up to 80 kilometers or 50 miles away. The MLRS is capable of supporting and delivering all free flight basic and extended range rockets and the Army Tactical Missile System Block 1 missiles. UK Defense Secretary Ben Wallace said in a statement, "As Russia's tactics change, so must our support to Ukraine. These highly capable multiple launch rocket systems will enable our Ukrainian friends to better protect themselves against the brutal use of long-range artillery, which Putin's forces have used indiscriminately to flatten cities." What weapons has the US provided? During the Russian invasion, the US has committed at least $54 billion in aid to Ukraine, including more than $20 billion in military support approved by Congress in May, as well as a number of aid packages approved in March. On June 1st, the Department of Defense announced the authorization of an 11th drawdown of equipment from its inventories for Ukraine since August 2021, as US President Joe Biden said the US would continue to provide Ukraine with weapons and equipment to defend itself. The package includes high-mobility artillery rocket systems and ammunition, 5 counter-artillery radars, 2 air surveillance radars, 1,000 javelins and 50 command launch units, 6,000 anti-armor weapons, 15,155mm artillery rounds, 4 Mi-17 helicopters, 15 tactical vehicles, and spare parts and equipment. Air defenses. Ukraine has successfully denied Russia full control of Ukrainian airspace during the conflict, but has called repeatedly for better air defense systems. The US has sent NASAMS, an advanced surface-to-air missile system, to Ukraine. Kiev has also received S-300 air defenses from Slovakia. Additionally, Germany and the Netherlands have agreed to send troops armed with Patriot missiles to Slovakia as part of a 2,100-strong force made up of soldiers from several NATO member states, including the US. The force will form a battle group on Slovak territory to boost NATO defenses on the alliance's eastern flank. Advanced weaponry. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly called on Western nations to send his country more heavy weapons, arguing it is the only way to stop Russian forces from turning the war into an endless bloodbath. On June 1st, the Biden administration said it would provide Ukraine with high-mobility artillery rocket systems under the condition that Ukrainian forces not use them to hit targets inside Russian territory. The M142 HIMARS is a high-tech lightweight rocket launcher that can strike targets at a range of 80 kilometers or 50 miles. This is almost double the range of the current M777 howitzers, which the US promised to provide earlier in the conflict. The M142 HIMARS is 7 meters in length, 2.4 meters wide, and 3.2 meters in height. It has a max speed of 85 kilometers per hour or 53 miles per hour, and a max cruising range of 480 kilometers or 298 miles. Ukraine already has multiple launch rocket system capabilities, but the HIMARS is a modernized system. The GPS-driven M142 HIMARS can carry one pod of 6 227mm guided missiles or one large pod loaded with a tactical missile. The spent pod can be removed and a new one loaded by a small crew within minutes. The HIMARS will provide Ukrainian forces with the capabilities to strike Russian lines deeper at a greater distance. Which countries are giving the most? In terms of overall spending on direct military support, the US has committed by far more than any other individual country up to the beginning of August. Poland and the UK has pledged the second and third largest amounts.